All right, guys, here at the Back Porch Ranch, again with Captain Scott Null. It's freaking gorgeous over here. He's doing a great job with his house. Again, when it gets done, we'll come back over here and see the finished product. But on top of all that, he's one of the preeminent guides, as you well know, in the entire country, certainly here in Texas. And it doesn't happen by magic. And we always get this question a lot. Like, what do they do? Because they have trip after trip after trip. I believe Scott has like 3 or 4 trips this coming week in a row. So I wanted to ask Scott just kind of a little bit of background information, pull the curtain back. Typical day. So let's say, Scott, let's say you're going to be fishing tomorrow. You pick the style, like whether it's going to be inshore, offshore, or whatever. When does that trip start for you?
It can start weeks ahead of time or just a few days. Depends on when somebody calls you.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you've got it on the books and you've got a plan, you got it set up. But quite often, somebody will call last minute, the weather looks good, and they'll call up and say, "Hey, man, I want to go fly fishing tomorrow." Well, I've been tarpon fishing every day for the last month.
Yeah.
And it may have been fly or it may have been conventional,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother ball game of switching back and forth. This guy wants to go red fishing.
Yeah.
So now I got to switch boats.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, let's talk about the boats yet. What do you have? Just
I've
so
got a Sabine poling skiff.
That's the poling skiff.
17-foot poling skiff,
Yeah.
floating 4, 5, 6 inches of water.
Yeah.
I chase redfish way in the back marshes. Do a lot of things with that little boat. Then I've got the Freedom General with my 26-foot Cat.
Yeah.
And I can run anywhere and do anything in it. That's the one I use for the jetties, running around catching jacks, bull reds, tarpon, a little bit of light offshore, go catch some kingfish when they're available. You can also do some bait fishing in it.
Yeah.
So I'll run all kind of different trips. But now I've been in the big boat every day. This is, you said typical.
Yeah.
That's typical.
Yeah.
I've been running the big boat every day. I've got that down. And now all of a sudden I've got a guy who wants to go fly fishing. First off, I need to go find where the fish are.
Yeah.
So that involves a whole nother day. If I've been running offshore and I've been doing my thing out there, I haven't even looked at the bays, hadn't paid much attention. I got some information from some people.
Yeah.
I kind of have an idea, but I hate to just go out there cold. So
Yeah.
a lot of times I'll run my tarpon trip in the morning and be off the water, 2 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And come home, grab the little boat and go scouting. Go to the back lakes and go look around a little bit before the trip the next day.
Yeah.
Then I got to get all the gear together. Got to switch over. Maybe need some life jackets because I had a 4 or 5 man trip, so I stole some life jackets out of the little boat. I got to get all the safety gear. I double check all that, make sure everything's there, make sure my paperwork's there in case I get stopped by the game warden, Coast Guard, or anything. All the little things that you do that is just in your boat.
Yeah.
We switch back and forth. I end up switching back and forth because of it. Making sure got flares, got all that, and then it comes the gear. I got to get my fly gear all lined up. I got to stretch some fly lines. I hadn't been fly fishing, so the line gets kinked.
Yeah, and you stretch them right out here.
Stretch them out here. I'll tie it off to a tree and walk across the yard and stretch it. Stretch the fly line really good so it'll lay out tomorrow. On that first cast, because the last thing you want is that thing to be laid out there all looped up, looking goofy. Try to look as professional as possible.
Well, that's easier. That's easier for some than others.
Some days it works better than others. But, so then I'm up. I'm staying up late because I'm trying to get all this stuff taken care of, and then get up. Depends on if Camille's here or not. If she's not here, I'm getting up an hour extra early. Let the dogs out. Let them roam, do their thing. So I may be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, meeting you at the ramp at daylight. Right now it's about 7 o'clock when I meet up. And I've got all the drinks. What I've found over the years, young guides out there, don't try to provide everything. I did that in the beginning. You put Cokes in, they want Dr. Peppers. You put Dr. Peppers in, they want Sprite. You fix sandwiches, they didn't want mustard on their sandwich. So what I did, I just went straight water. Young guides out there, when they ask, what's provided? Water. I've got bottled water on the boat. If you want something else, I've got an ice chest. You're welcome to it. You can bring whatever you want, Gatorade or whatever. But you can't please everybody.
No.
It's just you'll run yourself nuts
Yeah.
trying to do that. As far as gear goes, I'll provide spinning gears. I'll provide bait casters. I've got a whole garage in there at some point when I'm done with all this construction and it's viewable again.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mess right now, but I know where everything is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look real pretty. I've got bait casters. I've got fly rods. I've got fly for everything from let's go catch some sheep's head and redfish in shallow water, throwing little bitty stuff, on up to what we looked at before with the tarpon.
Yeah.
So I got everything 6, 8, 10, 12 weight. Spinning, I've got 2,500 or 3,000 for the bays and all the lures that go along with that. Bait casters, I run a variety of Shimano bait casters, little Corrados, Tranks, all on Fish Tackle Unlimited rods or Loomis rods. And then I got all the big stuff.
Yeah.
If we want to, loading up for a big day is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Because then I'm dealing with, are we going to be playing with Spanish mackerel?
Yeah.
Are we going to sit at the jetties? Is it a kid trip?
Leaders and lines.
What size leaders do we need? What size of this? So I've got to make sure that everything that I think I might need that day is on the boat. And it gets to be, it's almost a full-time job.
Yeah.
Just getting ready.
Yeah. And ice and gas and
not including the fishing part.
Yeah.
And then when you get home, now you, like the other day, man, we smoked the ladyfish the other day.
Yeah.
The ladyfish were on top of the tarpon.
Yeah.
Tarpon were rolling, but they were going down. If you threw a lure in that vicinity, you got a 20 to 25 inch ladyfish. They were fun.
They're big, and they come up and they fly out of the water.
They were jumping,
and
then they were pooping, and then they were bleeding.
Yeah.
They bleed like crazy, and I bet we caught, I don't know, 30, 40 of them. They pooped and bled all over my boat.
Yeah.
And then the sun's
you got
out,
to clean that thing too.
and it's dried.
Yeah.
So when you drove up, you saw a pressure washer sitting on the front porch there. That's
what that is.
That's what that's for. You got to clean that boat, because you don't want to show up the next day with
I hate that.
nasty boat.
I'm anal about that.
So you got to. It starts way early in the morning. Then you get to go fish for a little while, and then it goes on later in the evening. And then I'm at the end of that day. That guy wanted to redfish, so I'm in my Poland skiff.
Yeah.
My next 2 trips are tarpon trips.
Yeah.
So now I got to reverse this whole process.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm back to the big boat and I've got everything in it. And that's the hardest part for me is stopping and thinking about all of
what
that
you got to
gear. What gear what are we going to need? And it's all about communication. If you're getting a guide or you want to be a young guide, communication with the customer is key. I did screw up here a little while back, and I showed up with conventional gear, and the guy wanted to fly fish.
Yeah.
But he had booked it months in advance, and I forgot to take that little note.
Yeah.
And it's either that or I did it the other way. Whichever way it was, I brought the wrong set of gear for what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But we made it work.
Yeah.
And I live close by. I can run right back and grab what I need.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal. But the communication, knowing what kind of experience they have and what their expectations are for that day.
Right.
You know, I get guys all the time, hey, I want to go catch a tarpon.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go catch a tarpon?
Or you want to go get a big tug?
Go. Then if the tarpon are working, let's fish for them. If not, let's go do something else.
Yeah.
I get a whole lot of those.
Yeah.
Then I get the occasional guys that are 100% jacks are blowing up over there. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't want to mess with a jack. All I want's a tarpon.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll do that. But I need to know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to stray off of the tarpon and go.
You get more gear, more.
I need some different gear. I need some smaller gear. I had a group of guys the other day that, they interested in going tarpon fishing.
Yeah.
Tarpon really weren't acting right, so let's go throw small lures at the jetties to catch some trout and redfish.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, that's a whole different world.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And I've got 5 of y'all on the boat, so I've got 5 rods and reels, 6.
Right.
I need a backup.
Yeah.
Always bring a backup. Something's going to break.
Yeah.
And 6 for throwing lures.
Yeah.
Throwing little small lures for trout and redfish.
Yeah.
So you need to know all of that ahead of time,
Yeah.
and then you need to be able to prepare for it. My garage, when it's right, it looks like a deck.
Oh, I've seen it right. We'll get back to, like I said, we're going to be doing this for a while, so we'll get back here.
Yeah, I like it when it looks like a tackle shop. Right now, it
Yeah.
looks like maybe a pawn shop. I'm not
Maybe.
yeah, pawn shop's probably more organized than what I got going on in there. But
All
I
that
built
said,
a house,
yeah,
man. I mean, I'm
yeah.
building a house. So
All that said, though, worth every bit of it, right? Especially when you
Oh,
see
I have-
when you see the looks on
Yeah.
the customer's
I have
faces.
a blast with it.
Yeah.
Kid trips, love them. You know, love
Yeah.
having the kids out there. Get some live shrimp and let's just go see what we can catch.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite trips, really, or any of the trips where the people just want to go catch something.
Catch fish.
Just go catch something.
Yeah.
And we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Most days. We can catch something.
Yeah.
Whether it's the actual targeted species, that's when it gets more difficult.
Yeah.
Guy wants to go catch a trophy trout
Yeah.
or wants to catch a redfish on a fly.
Yeah.
When you start getting very specific, the weather doesn't always cooperate.
Yeah.
The fish don't always cooperate. It's a little more stressful then.
Yeah.
Most days we make most of it happen.
Yeah.
Tarpon's a whole other ball game. Tarpon's the weirdest fish we got.
Yeah.
Some days I can make that happen, and some days,
Yeah.
like just recently, I ran over fish for 3 hours dragging lures through them back and forth, and did not get a single bite. But I could see them on my depth finder,
Yeah.
and they were rolling around us.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't eat.
That's fishing, man.
Didn't feel bad though, because one of my buddies who had really done well
Yeah.
the day before, they caught like 8
Yeah.
the day before. They zeroed that day.
Yeah, that
So,
happens.
it
Should have
wasn't
been here
just me.
yesterday.
Yeah, should have been here yesterday. Yeah. The other part of guiding is you got to know a bunch of stories.
Yeah.
You got to be able to tell some stories.
For those days.
You got to know the history of your area. I know all the history of Matagorda Island.
Yeah.
And on those days when we're dragging lures through a bunch of tarpon that ain't
Yeah.
eating, you're going to hear about the Civil War battle that was out there. That's the other part of preparing for a fishing
Yeah.
trip.
Little research.
Is having
Knowledge.
having all that.
Course knowledge.
But you're going to check the weather. You're going to check the tides.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, where you're going to fish depends on all that.
yeah, I mean, you're making plans.
Yeah.
It's a constant thought process, and you don't have days off, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a day off.
You're
got 2
thinking.
or 3 days off.
You're thinking.
You're thinking about it.
Or you're fishing.
Fixing tackle. You're fixing the boat. You're working on something. You're talking to your buddies
Yeah.
that are out there fishing. Or you just grab a boat and you take off and
Yeah.
you go that day by yourself. You're not really fishing. It's
Yeah.
not like a fun, let's go fish.
Yeah.
I want to go see what the water looks like
Yeah.
over here because I haven't made it down that far
Yeah. In a while.
month.
Yeah.
I've been fishing up here. I want to move down and just go see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that with customers
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Every now and then, if I got a good customer that's been with me a lot,
Mhm.
I'll say, "Hey man, you want to go check?
Yeah.
Let's go check Panther." I
Yeah.
haven't been down there in a few weeks, but
Yeah.
and they'll say, "Well, I trust you to find some fish." Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that
Yeah. With somebody.
day in day out.
Yeah.
I'd really like to know what I'm headed towards before I get there.
Exactly.
And that's it. I know there are guys out there that do it part time, really part time, and then there's guys that do it full time. I'm kind of in between.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it full time.
Yeah.
I've got other things going on, but I still treat it like a full time.
Yeah. Just
and I
for
keep
the
up with
result. Yeah.
everything. There's some part time guys out there that they're fishing once or twice a week,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if that. And on those days they're taking customers out. That's
They're-
a tough way to go.
They're just exploring.
They're going out and
Yeah.
trying to figure it out
Yeah.
while you're paying them.
Yeah.
The better guys are going to know what's going on. They've got a network. If they haven't been on the water, they've got a network of
Yeah.
people. They should have been on the water and going out and exploring.
Yeah.
Going out. Hell, there's sometimes I may go out 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
on my own
Just to figure
just
it out.
to get ready for another trip.
Yeah.
It's just all part of it. You either have to love it and do it right, or don't do it.
Yeah. Well, we love it here at the Bite Me Podcast. I know you do too. Don't forget to subscribe here on this channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the Bite Me Podcast wherever you get your podcast. We'll hit you again real soon with another Bite Me Short.